Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini. How's everybody doing here on this Thursday evening? The NFL draft, we are officially, in my eyes, on the road to that draft in Pittsburgh today. As a matter of fact, right at this exact moment, it's on the screen here to my right. The NFL Scouting Combine currently ongoing. Tons of Steelers brass in attendance, lots of good prospects to dissect over the next few days at the Combine and really the next month or so leading up to the draft. I have already started my pre-draft evaluations on these prospects. So between now and draft day, hoping to have at least somewhat of a full prospect catalog put together once again that we will readily at hand have evaluations and opinions on these prospects when draft day comes here a little bit on in the future. But right now, today, we are going to start off talking about this combine and really what happened yesterday and this morning. We'll get into prospect evaluations when I have, more time to sit down and watch everybody do all their drills in full. Instead, want to start by focusing on the Steelers and who they are looking at the beginning of this combine. Yesterday was the first day of pre-combine, pre-drill interviews with teams. You can meet with them formally in a closed room. You can meet with them informally, whether it's, just talking out in the hallway or a quick handshake as you walk by. The Steelers, they have some pretty lofty goals, I would say, when it comes to this draft. They are meeting tons of high-value prospects, some of which are, in my opinion, way out of their draft range right now at 21. They would need to trade up to draft some of these guys. Who all these prospects are, we will get into and talk about a little bit here to begin the show in a few moments. And then after that, we'll get into some hockey and baseball as well. The local hockey team, the Pittsburgh Penguins, they back in action tonight. As a matter of fact, puck drop should be coming up here in an hour and a half against the New Jersey Devils. They will be doing so without their team captain, Sidney Crosby, and they will be without Sid, unfortunately, for a while as a murderer's row of opponents on their schedule are right around the corner. So we'll talk about the impact of the loss of the Penguins captain. Then we'll talk a tiny bit about the Pittsburgh Pirates. Past 2 days, 2 more spring training games. One all right, one not so all right. Paul Skenes made his first and only start of spring training. We'll get into him a little bit, and then any extra Pittsburgh sports news that we happen to come across later on this evening. Before we get this show on the road here tonight, want to start off, of course, by saying if you are new here, welcome to the live stream. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you never miss a thing here on the channel. Again, like this live stream, share this live stream in the comments section. Any thoughts, questions, or opinions that you may have throughout the show here tonight, please get those in the comment section. I enjoy interacting with you fine folks when you do put stuff in the comment section. I can pop it up on screen here just like this at a moment's notice. Be sure to like, share this live stream, and go give the channel a follow at Steel City SR on Facebook, Instagram, and X at Steel City SR. Tune in later on tonight as well for a new edition of SCSR 60. 5 of you in here, I expect, since we're talking football for a good chunk of the show here today, that number to go up. And let's start right there, ladies and gentlemen. Like I just said a few moments ago, NFL Scouting Combine on the TV here, muted to my right. Don't want it to be too much of a distraction. We'll have plenty of time to talk about every single one of these prospects when draft day rolls around in Pittsburgh. But I did want to start off by notifying everybody what the Steelers have been up to over the past 48 hours. They have been busy interviewing tons and tons of draft prospects. You have the black and gold. I want to say they are somewhere in the 20 to 25 ballpark range of confirmed formal interviews with players already at the combine. And they are already, according to sources, according to Mark Caboli, Pat McAfee show correspondent on the Steelers, somewhere between 45 and 60 players are going to be formally interviewed by the Steelers, and I think they are already reaching or approaching the halfway mark of that goal. they started yesterday with, I'd say, quite the crop of bona fide college talent that could be going in the high first round all the way to, I'd say, for some of these guys, at bare minimum, a late day 2 pick. Starting off on the defense, that's where that's the groups that go first at the combine right now. Defensive line and linebackers going off to my right. Yesterday on defense, Steelers, formal combine interviews with CJ Allen. He is a linebacker from Georgia, one of the top linebackers in the class. Same thing with Jack Galday, a linebacker from Cincinnati, and Anthony Hill, a linebacker from Texas. On the D-line, we all know the Steelers love their defensive linemen, especially from the state of Ohio. Caden McDonald. Do not sleep on him possibly being a first-round pick for the Steelers to, along with Derek Harmon. You put McDonald in there, you pretty much sure up that you will be good on the defensive line once Cam Hayward heads into life beyond football someday. So Caden McDonald, he was formally interviewed by the Steelers yesterday. On the other side of the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry, a Wolverine was interviewed yesterday by the Steelers, Rayshon Benny, and along with those two, defensive tackle Darrell Jackson Jr. from Florida State. He was formally interviewed as well. Another defensive lineman here, I believe he's more of an edge rusher, LT Overton, projected to be a late first-round pick, early second-round pick. He formally met with the Steelers. In the secondary, this is when things got even more interesting for the Steelers. Tons of first-round talent that the Steelers interviewed in the secondary yesterday. And quite honestly, I'd be cool if they draft a corner. We talk ad nauseum on here about the Steelers' need for another top-end wide receiver to pair with DK Metcalf, whether it be a WR1 or WR2. I think not many people are talking about the fact that the Steelers, they could also need a CB2, a corner 2 to put opposite of Joey Porter Jr., Asante Samuel Jr., free agent, James Pierre, free agent, Brandon Eccles, mainly a slot guy. That really doesn't leave anybody else on the table to help out Joey Porter Jr., and you could see one of these guys, if the Steelers are inclined to do so, line up on the other side of the field across from JPJ to help with the secondary. Bunch of corners that I like right here. D'Angelo Pons from Indiana. I believe he's more of a slot corner type. I believe it might be the same thing for Keith Abney, the second from Arizona State, like that. Keontae Scott, I believe he injured at bits of last season for the University of Miami. These guys right here, bona fide first rounders. Mansour Delani from LSU. He will be the first corner off the board if I had to bet. You also got Dalen Everett from Georgia. 2 Tennessee Volunteers right here. Good old Rocky Top. Jermod McCoy and Colton Hood. 2 excellent corners right there for the Volunteers. And then Brandon Siss from South Carolina. Hezekiah Masses from Cal. Those are the corners that the Steelers have interviewed. And then they also got into the safety market. And this is probably the most star-studded name that the Steelers interviewed yesterday. Caleb Downs, safety from Ohio State. To tell you, without going into stats or highlights or whatever about how good Caleb Downs is, many are projecting him to be potentially the second overall pick in this draft behind Fernando Mendoza. He'll go to the Raiders. Lots of people projecting Caleb Downs to the Jets just because, quite frankly, the Jets secondary absolutely sucks. But the fact that a safety is being projected to go number 2, that is a position that has been devalued, kind of like the running backs in recent years. Downs, that's how good he is. He is a game changer back there in the secondary. And the Steelers, not sure. Maybe they're just trying to build a relationship with Caleb Downs down the road. But let's say Caleb Downs goes and falls down maybe towards that number 10 pick area. Who's to say that the Steelers, if they make certain moves, they got Deshaun Elliott, who will be coming back from injury. Kyle Duggar will be gone. Juan Thornhill gone. Jabril Peppers, he'll be gone. Jalen Ramsey, questionable what you do with him. Could you get a Caleb Downs to maybe, be the cornerstone piece of this new secondary you're going to put together over this Mike McCarthy tenure? I wouldn't be upset if the Steelers, at the right price, at the right time, traded up for Caleb Downs. Some other safeties that the Steelers interviewed yesterday as well. He talked with Dylan Theineman, Oregon safety, had an excellent had an excellent Senior Bowl, my bad. And then Bud Clark from TCU. Those are the headline safeties that the Steelers interviewed. Over on the offensive side of the ball, not much there for the Steelers yet. I believe we'll see more offensive guys get looked at by the Steelers as the weekend goes along here. But you today had two quarterbacks, one that we know all too fondly locally here in Western Pennsylvania, and one that everybody knows right now because his draft stock may be getting inflated. Two quarterbacks formally interviewing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Believe you have Drew Aller, Penn State quarterback, had a down year with the Nittany Lions, quite frankly, before he got hurt. On top of it, his stock out of pretty much everybody in this draft class that was supposed to be, a way better draft class than what it's turning out to be. His draft stock out of everyone might have plummeted the most. So Drew Aller getting looked at for the Steelers. I'd take a flyer on him just because of traits, well-built, 6'5", 235 pounds, has a missile of an arm, just processing defenses and footwork isn't his strong suit. So just on, the athleticism alone and the arm talent, I'd take a flyer on Aller, say third round or beyond, but definitely not a day one or second round pick like what many projected him to be going back a couple of years ago. And then also Ty Simpson, Alabama quarterback. He is the quarterback that is most likely, besides Fernando Mendoza, he's the most likely to go in the first round. And he's been mocked by Field Yates, by Mel Kiper Jr., I think even Daniel Jeremiah a little bit. He's been mocked to the Steelers quite a good bit. Simpson, would I like spending a first-round pick on Simpson? No. I mean, he does have talent. I mean, honest to God, he does, but very experienced. I believe he only has 15 college starts. You got some guys in this class that have somewhere between 30 to 40, maybe even 50. And Simpson here, very raw prospect. And also the ending of his season with Alabama, he pretty much the catalyst of the team falling all the way out of college football playoff contention. So a bad ending of the year and a raw prospect. Skittish as all hell on spending a first-round pick on Ty Simpson. But, hey, would I feel better that now we have a quarterback guru and Mike McCarthy in there over Tomlin if we were to draft Simpson in the first round? Yeah, I would feel a little bit better. Not great, but better if the Steelers were to look at Ty Simpson. The last guy that the Steelers, I think, have formally met with, you got Omar Cooper, wide receiver from Indiana. Maybe a late first-round pick wide receiver. It is a loaded wide receiver class. I believe Daniel Jeremiah, top NFL Network draft analyst, he has in his top 100 prospects, 20 of them are wide receivers. I have no clue where Omar Cooper falls in that rankings, in those rankings right there. But hey, Steelers, they need to, in my opinion, double dip at the wide receiver position in this draft. I would say even regardless if they add someone of value in free agency, you need to go out, get a wide receiver early on, and then not too long after that, get a second one as well. Omar Cooper, he could be either or, just depends on how the draft board falls when we get closer to the draft in April. Some other guys, those are the formal guys who I just mentioned there a moment ago. Some informal meetings that the Steelers had. These are just, bump-ins in the hallway, handshakes, hi, how you doing as you walk by, maybe like a 2-minute conversation by the, I wouldn't say there's a water cooler there in Indianapolis, but just wherever, however you so happen to bump into these guys. Bryce Boettcher, linebacker from Oregon, had an excellent showing in the Senior Bowl. Really like his tape. Could be maybe a mid-round pick for the Steelers, depending on how linebackers are valued in this draft. I wouldn't mind him being an understudy to Patrick Queen if he stays here, or push Peyton Wilson for his job. USC outside linebacker Anthony Lucas, he had an informal meeting with the Steelers in Indianapolis. He just over here, I saw a moment ago, ran a 4.51 40-yard dash. Insane speed for a man his size. Texas Tech defensive tackle Lee Hunter, he met with the Steelers in Indianapolis. Didn't confirm whether formal or informal, but there's another D tackle look for the Steelers. Tells you they're going to have that position of high value on their board. Cam Ball, defensive lineman from Arkansas, met with the Steelers at the Senior Bowl. I believe there will be something in Indianapolis with him, and just some other guys here. Not sure if they're formal or informal. Couple more safeties. Bishop Fitzgerald from USC, AJ Halsey from LSU, Zakee Wheatley from Penn State, Hennessis Smith from Arizona. All those guys, safeties, and I believe that is that's it for the interview. So already you're talking about somewhere between 25 to 30 names, I would say, for the Steelers already interviewing them in some way, shape, or form down there in Indianapolis. It's a little bit weird going through this, talking about this, because no Mike Tomlin, you'd be able to sniff out really at even this early stage of, what guys the Steelers truly like, depending on who they interview, which guys they, are just interviewing maybe to, have a relationship with them down the line in free agency. This time around, you could look at everybody on this list and say, yeah, Steelers could legitimately have interest in these guys. We don't know what type of building blocks, what type of players they are going to want to draft and bring to Pittsburgh with this all brand new coaching staff. So it'll be fun throughout the draft and leading up throughout the combine here, I should say, leading up into the draft. We'll definitely talk about a bunch of these prospects between now and then, but it is a bit of an unknown. We're walking through the wilderness right now when it comes to who the Steelers could legitimately have interest with. Just a couple of guys who are favorites right now, just because they seem like they like Pittsburgh. Miami corner Keontae Scott. He said he watches Jalen Ramsey tape to help him improve. I'm sure that'll earn him brownie points with the Steelers when it comes to draft day. South Carolina corner Brandon Siss said he met with the Steelers, but he grew up a Steelers fan and big Troy Polamalu, Hines Ward fan. You had Arkansas defensive lineman Cam Ball said he grew up a huge fan of Aaron Rodgers. It would be a blessing to be a teammate with him someday. So these guys trying to woo their way onto the Steelers roster, maybe, or put out as good of a PR stance as they possibly can. Caden McDonald as well, Ohio State product. Of course, he can go to Pittsburgh, line up at nose tackle, be between an Ohio State legend in Cam Hayward and another young, fast-rising star defensive lineman in Derek Harmon. Also, McDonald, I think he said he was at the regular season finale against the Ravens, that Tyler Lute miskicked game. So really liking this start, honestly, here for the Steelers. Some first-round guys, some later-round guys, but all guys that, especially the defensive linemen, big physical bodies, linebackers, being able to tackle well, corners, sticky coverage guys, first-round picks. Looking at the group right now, looks like the Steelers, they could go any which way with their first overall pick in this draft. They got 5 picks right now in the top 100. They could go many which ways and cover all these bases should they so choose to do coming up in the draft in April. 7 of you in here right now. Welcome to the live stream. On your way in, please, like Flacco says here in the comment section, getting to that now, hit the like and subscribe button on your way in. Glad to see you again, Flacco. We'll get to your first comment here of the night. Do know what you are referring to there. I will get to that in the extra Pittsburgh Sports News segment. Don't you worry, but really wanted to hit on the combine first and foremost. Not sure if you were here at the beginning of the show. Flacco did officially today began to, put on a sheet of paper all of the prospects I'm looking forward to. Going to be learning a little bit more between now and the draft in April. So when we get to the draft, 3 days of live streaming, most likely here on the channel throughout the entire draft. And we will be breaking down, hopefully, all of the prospects. I doubt there's going to be all the prospects that I, have a scouting report on in some way, shape, or form. There might be a few that I missed just because I didn't have them getting drafted, but definitely on our way to the NFL draft, and it's starting today with the combine there in Indianapolis, and it runs through the weekend. Now, 9 of you in here. Gonna switch up gears for the first time today, keep things moving along here. Besides the combine, that is a big talking point for the Steelers right now and the city of Pittsburgh, seeing who the Steelers could possibly draft in Pittsburgh here in April. The other major news story going on in Pittsburgh sports over the past 24 hours, changing gears here over to hockey. Bad news. Sidney Crosby was so close, apparently, or reportedly, to playing for Team Canada in the gold medal game of the Olympics back on Sunday. Didn't play, was close to playing per reports. We're like, all right, that's good. He didn't play in the gold medal game, meaning he didn't push his knee, and also he gets to come back healthy here. And, you would think Crosby being close to playing in that game, he'd be close to playing for the Penguins, only be out maybe a game or two. Not the case. Not the case whatsoever. Yesterday, you're seeing the post right there. Sidney Crosby out 4 weeks, a minimum of a month with a lower body knee injury. We know what the lower body injury is. It's a knee injury. 4 weeks, Crosby is out. Penguins did activate Chris Letang from IR after he missed a handful of games before the Olympic break, but this is a big blow. This is a major blow here to the Penguins, and I want to know how we got to this point, honestly, because there's one thing that really confuses the hell out of me. I'll get to it here in one moment. Crosby, yesterday, after returning to Pittsburgh, and we got the whole announcement that he's going to miss a month, talked about him and his trip in the Olympics and the injury. He said that he was a lot closer to playing in the gold medal game than he thought. Didn't think it was necessarily going to be an option. And then the chance that he had a chance was close to it. It was unbelievable, in his opinion, that he had a chance to play in the game. Said that all he cared about was playing in that game. He said he would have, if he, felt good enough to play, he would have. Ultimately did not. And then Crosby said here, found out the severity of the injury night of the game. I got hurt. As far as the timeline, you're just trying to wrap your head around each day and giving yourself a chance to play. Don't really know what to expect. Haven't had this type of injury before. Don't like that. Also, Sid was asked if he was surprised about the length that he'll miss, the length of time that he'll miss here with this injury. And he said, I'm not surprised. I'll be out at least 4 weeks. Now, let's hit the pause button here. Rewind. Crosby, earlier in this press conference yesterday, I was really close to playing in the gold medal game. And then a little later on in the press conference, says, I'm not surprised at all. I'll be out at least 4 weeks. I'm no doctor or anything. I'm probably like the farthest dude from it here. But being close to playing in a game like 3 days ago, and then 3 days later you find out you're going to miss a month. The math ain't math in there. It's not lining up. It's like going back here to the Steelers season. It's like if TJ Watt in football, if he were to, like tweak his hand or something and then barely, miss one game, and then boom, all of a sudden he's out the rest of the season. Like, doesn't make any sense how Sid could have been close and now he's, gonna miss a month. It's almost like going to the doctor here for a broken toe and then you end up amputating the leg from the knee down here. No idea how we got to the point where Crosby all of a sudden misses 4 weeks after he skated in Milan the Saturday before the Sunday game and then came close to playing Sunday. No clue. I doubt something happened on the way back travel wise. I know when you get up in altitude, you're, an injury or something, inflammation of the knee can happen, but not like that. Never heard of that before. A player being close to playing one day and then 2-3 days later, now he's going to be out for a month. I want to know if there was any sort of re-aggravating or worsening of the injury there, because that does not make any sense. Crosby also did not clarify the exact type of injury to the media. No surprise there whatsoever. Hockey players always, want to keep things confidential. It's always upper body, lower body injury. Said that he didn't have any problem with the Radko Gudis hit, so he's cool with him. I know Penguins fans sure as hell are not. Gudis is still public enemy number one here in Pittsburgh, but man, just insane that we go from, hey, Sid, maybe he doesn't play against the Devils tonight, but maybe he'll be back here for this month of March when it's hell on earth coming to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Instead, Crosby probably going to miss all of it. So that is absolutely fantastic. People still speculating what the injury could be. You have doctors looking at the video, evaluating Crosby. They are predicting without, getting actual tests or seeing actual tests done on Crosby that it's a 4 to 6 week timeline for a grade 2 MCL injury. Maybe it's in the 3 to 5 week ballpark range. I don't know, but just absolutely sucks, this injury for Crosby. Maybe he does come back sooner than the 4 weeks that we learned yesterday. It's been about a week now already since the injury, maybe a little over that. So he's already a week into this rehab recovery process, but tons and tons of gray area and murkiness to this whole situation. We'll see. If Crosby only misses, 3 to 4 weeks, he'll be out probably around 10 to 15 games, if I had to guess. And those 10 to 15 games, most of them, they are pretty tough. You got the New Jersey Devils tonight for the Penguins. Let me bring up the Pen schedule here. You got the Penguins. They play New Jersey tonight at home. They then got the Rangers and the Vegas Golden Knights over the weekend. The Vegas Golden Knights, ladies and gentlemen, Devils, Rangers, two beatable teams in your division. The next 2 games for the Pens. Starting Sunday, this upcoming Sunday, against the Vegas Golden Knights, a hell scourged, like Mike Tyson after Mike Tyson and then Floyd Mayweather type of opponents for the Steelers here. Vegas, Boston, Buffalo, Philly, Boston, Carolina, Vegas again, Utah, Colorado, Carolina again, Winnipeg, Carolina for a third time, Colorado for a second time, Ottawa, Dallas, Islanders, and then Detroit Red Wings. That is a really rough month. Vegas, one of the better teams in the West. Tons of star power. You got them twice. You got Carolina, who's in the division lead right now 3 times. Colorado Avalanche, who may be the best team in hockey, twice. Boston, they having a bit of a surprising good year, just like the Penguins. They're always tough to beat, especially in Boston. You got them twice. Buffalo, one of the hotter teams in the NHL. Philly, who always plays you tough because of the rivalry, and then a whole bunch of other teams mixed in there. That is a rough month for the Pens, and it is going to be even tougher now that you're down the captain for maybe at least half of those games. So thoughts and prayers to the Pens and to Sidney Crosby. Crosby, let's hope that he gets that Wolverine blood in him to where he be able to heal. Wolverine, Deadpool, whatever kind of a superhero healing strength he gets here, he's going to need it. And the Pens, they are going to need to pull rabbits out of their hats night after night to try to stay afloat, at least, throughout this stretch of games here. And it all starts tonight with the New Jersey Devils. We'll see immediately. I guess might as well rip the Band-Aid off. You're going to see immediately how the loss of Crosby may affect the team in one way or another. Hopefully, guys step up, especially one guy in particular I'm hoping for, Evgeny Malkin. Every point in his career when Crosby's been out, he has turned into a different animal. Can he still do it at age 39? I'm hoping so with the season he's having. Also, Penguins, they made that trade yesterday for Sam Girard from the Colorado Avalanche. Hopefully he finds some form of his old game when he was one of the better offensive defensemen in the NHL. Dubas, be aggressive, go out, trade for Jason Robertson, add a piece here, another bona fide goal scorer who's going to go out and put up points night after night to help in Sid's absence. Just can't be sitting on your nobody can be a passenger. Everybody now is going to need to push the rock up the hill here together, because you just lost your strongest man, in my opinion, in Sidney Crosby. To fill in for Crosby tonight, this is the projected lineup that the Pens are going with tonight. Rickard Rakell, he's going to end up being the first line center from line rushes at yesterday's practice. Brian Rust, of course, with Rakell. Avery Hayes, who scored 2 goals in his NHL debut back before the NHL break for the Olympics, and then he went down to the AHL and lit it up. He'll be with Rakell and Rust, so big opportunity for him. Hopefully it wasn't just a one-hit wonder, his performance in Buffalo a few weeks ago. Kevin Hayes with Tommy Novak and Evgeny Malkin. Yikes. That is, no offense to Kevin Hayes here, but that is a rough line, and his top 6 forward days are over. That is a old and slow line. Tommy Novak's going to need to carry the speed element on that line. Mantha, Kindle, Brazo, they stay together. Same thing with Dewar, Lizotte, and Achari. Wotherspoon, Carlson together. Sam Girard, after being acquired yesterday by the Pens, or 2 days ago, excuse me, by the Pens, he will fill in for Brett Kulak as Chris Letang's D partner. Ryan Shea, Connor Clifton, the third pairing yesterday's practice. Artur Shilovs, he will get the start in goal tonight. Igor Chinikov, we'll see if he plays tonight. The reason why I'm said that was a rough second line: Kevin Hayes, Tommy Novak, Evgeny Malkin. Hayes was filling in for Chinikov at yesterday's practice because Chinikov had a baby. Congratulations to him and his wife. Ended up having a child. Hopefully Chinikov, him being a new dad, does not stop him from being in the lineup tonight, because I guess I would say he had a baby at the right time. He could use some dad powers right now. He's so far having a good time since he joined the Penguins, but need him to step up his game just like everybody. Dad powers should help out with that. So, yeah, that's the latest with the Penguins. It's all great news. It's all great news. Your toughest stretch of the season. You're without your captain now. Thank God this team in the first half of the season was able to kick ass and put a 5-point cushion, I believe, between them and falling out of a playoff spot here. But they're going to need to stay afloat and maybe even swim and survive a little bit here over the next maybe month without Crosby. Crosby, his quote that stuck with me yesterday: I'm confident. I think we've shown all year that we have injuries and guys have stepped up to get to where we are at this point. I think it is because of our team play. I don't think it has been any one person. I think it's because collectively as a group, we found different ways to win and different guys have stepped up. Sid, from your mouth to the hockey god's ears, I hope that statement is true, because you're going to need to find some crazy ways for the Pens to win here over the next few weeks. So we'll see. That's the latest in Pens puck drop with the New Jersey Devils, I believe, coming up here within the next hour. So between now and then, let's get ready. Let's get ready for some Penguins hockey. Also, I'll be the first to mention this here: trade deadline right around the corner as well in the NHL, coming up on Friday. Not this Friday, next Friday. So 8 days from now, the NHL trade deadline. Have no graphic or anything made. I'll try to work on that over the weekend. We will be live instead of a normal live stream like this. We will be live on Friday. It actually might be a 2 live stream day, depending on if I go live for Team USA playing in the World Baseball Classic. I think they take on Brazil in a round robin game. But trade deadline, the end time for the trade deadline in the NHL next Friday at 3 p.m. We'll probably be live for a few hours talking about the deadline, breaking down all the new deals that come our way. So that's a little look ahead to what's coming up next week here on the channel. 5 of you still hanging around here. Welcome to the live stream. On your way in, please hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment in the comment section. Back to comment section. Flacco here. Yeah, my exact reaction yesterday when I saw that the Pens put him on IR. I'm like, all right, maybe they put him on IR and it's like a 2-week thing, which was probably the most I was going to expect for Sid. Instead, nope, month minimum, 4 weeks minimum. And he's already a week into that, so I'm hoping that counts towards his time served on IR here. I don't think the Penguins were able to make too many roster moves throughout the freeze for the Olympic break, but let's pray that Sid is a fast healer and that he's able to get back out there on the ice, feel like his old self too. That should not be lost in this thing here, is that this type of injury, Sid said himself, never had the type of injury before. That worries me a little bit. If it was something maybe Sid has had in the past, he'll know how to attack it and come back healthier from it. But hopefully this doesn't derail in any way, shape, or form. The season that he's having, still putting up damn good numbers. At what age? 38? Maybe a second opinion. Maybe it was also Team Canada just doing a little bit of gentlemanship play for the gold medal game. Maybe they said, "Hey, Sid is going." They put out there, "Hey, Sid, game time decision for the gold medal game," even though they knew he was nowhere close to playing, and they just wanted to keep Team USA on their toes. And then maybe when Sid got back to Pittsburgh, it was they said, "Yeah, you're done for a little while to get you right." Though now that I think about it, Team Canada, could they have lied and have said, "Yeah, Sid's close to playing," knowing he ultimately wasn't going to, just to throw off the United States? But also, Kyle Dubas was over there, so he was the assistant general manager of Team Canada. He was in Milan. How comes we didn't get any leaks or reports from him on Sid's injury? Unless he was, fully bought into playing along with that as well. Who the hell knows? But yeah, all bad times here for Sid and the gang. That's what I'm assuming happened. Yeah, and that's a gauntlet. That freaking schedule right there. 3 games against your division leader, 2 games against the best team in hockey, 2 games against one of the better Western teams, 2 games against one of the better Eastern teams in Boston, Buffalo, who's having a strong year, and many more beyond that. Philly's in there as well. Yeah, tough right now. The schedule coming up here for the Pens. But, let me know if you think if the Pens can get through it. You feel more optimistic than I. Let me know in the comment section. I'm not gonna, rule them out. I'm not gonna give them 0 chance here, but definitely does take a little bit of the magic out of the run this team has been on here. Concepts in the comment section. What is going on here? Concepts. Glad to have you here. You and Flacco here on this Thursday. Just catching you up, I guess. Concepts, you're one of the OGs here. You deserve this on what you missed so far. Talking about the combine a little bit, still going on right now. They're running the hoop drill for the edge rushers right now. Off to my left, I think David Bailey, Texas Tech edge rusher. He just ran it pretty well. Had an excellent 40 time as well. Steelers. Going to start putting my wish list together on which of these guys I would like the Steelers to go get. Any favorite of yours on the defensive side of the ball, concepts, Flacco, anybody out there, you want to get that in the comments section, please let me know. A little bit over 45 minutes into this live stream here this evening. Let's push through this here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get out of the way the final top segment here of the program here tonight. I've been enjoying, actually, that when we've come on here for live streams like this, we've had a big story about all three of the professional sports teams. It's been a good while since we've had all three teams having major action going on right now. The Combine, which the Steelers, the Combine in and of itself would have been, would have been a talking point, even if the Steelers weren't necessarily getting tons of hype there, but they are. So talking about the Steelers, talking about the Combine, that's fun. Talking about the Pens, they're in season in the Crosby injury. It's not fun, but it is news that keeps us engaged here on the channel. And then you have the Pittsburgh Pirates. They chugging right along for spring training here down in Bradenton in Florida. 2 more games played over the last 2 days since we were last live. Just a bit of a catch-up on what the Buccos have been doing. Yesterday, Bucks were in Northport, Florida, taking on the Atlanta Braves. They had somewhat of a starting lineup. O'Neal Cruz, Brandon Lau, Marcell Ozuna, Ryan O'Hearn, Jared Triolo, Henry Davis, those guys who are probably going to be starters opening day. They played yesterday in Florida. Paul Skenes made his lone spring training start. More on that in a minute. Skenes Day on the bump down in Florida yesterday. And Skenes, scoreless first inning, had 2 consecutive 2-out walks, but the Braves had no hits, and they also had 3 successful ABS challenges, which I'm sure frustrated Skenes. Through 23 pitches in the first inning for Skenes. Did strike out Ronald Acuna Jr. and Austin Riley, so 2 big power bats right there he got the best of. Skenes ended up going 2 1/3 innings, had 1 earned run credited against him, had 4 walks and 4 strikeouts, 53 pitches in a little over 2 innings for Skenes. Did avoid, getting the ball crushed off of him, but definitely some uncharacteristic control issues for Skenes yesterday. I mean, hopefully it's just a tune-up for him. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here. I mean, if Skenes, where it seems unlikely because he's just that much of a godlike pitcher out there on the mound. If he has a outing like that every now and then, I'm not going to, crush him for it and say, oh no, look for him to now go on a slide now. But it was weird seeing Skenes have some control issues. Doesn't seem like he's a big fan of the ABS as well, Paul Skenes. So, Skenes, 2 1/3 innings. That was the big talking point from yesterday's game. O'Neal Cruz had a good game, at least with the bat. Had a leadoff single that he absolutely smoked. I think had another hit or 2 in the game as well. Ryan O'Hearn had some nice at-bats too. Cruz in the field. That's a different story, though. Ended up losing a fly ball in the sun that was 15 feet behind him when it hit the ground. So Cruz, him in the outfield. I mean, hopefully it's not as big of an adventure as it was last year, but it still will be an adventure nonetheless. Connor Griffin did not start yesterday's game, but he did wind up playing. Got hit by a pitch. Ended up, I think, taking a breaking ball to the back right foot, was able to walk it off, and there was said to be nothing, significant to that injury as well. So all Pirates fans give a collective sigh of relief. Final score from yesterday's game, Pirates ended up losing 3-1. Don Kelly, Buccos manager, after the game did confirm that was Paul Skenes' only start of spring training with the Pirates. So Skenes, we're now a week, I would say, into spring training, or closing in on a week into spring training. He makes this one start with the Bucks. Now he's off to the World Baseball Classic, and according to Skenes, he will pitch 2, maybe even 3 games for Team USA in the WBC. Do I like Skenes? Yes. Do I like him representing his country, being patriotic as hell? Also, yes. Do I like the timing of this? Not all that much. 1 start like Tarek Skubal, cool. That's a given. 2 starts, all right. I mean, yeah, cool. I mean, I guess you might as well get into some sort of a routine of pitching, every, 5th day or whatever. 3 times, that's stretching it. Because Skenes, as much of an animal and a cyborg, never gets hurt, knock on wood, guy that he seems to be out there on the mound, going from just a simulated game and 1 spring training start where you pitched only 2 innings to playoff-like atmosphere baseball. The competitor he is, I know he's going to want to go full tilt. I'm just hoping to God that his body is able to is able to be up to the task here, because I do not like him all of a sudden going from damn near 0 to 100 just like that when it comes to baseball. But we'll see. Skenes, after the game, said, "We're America. We've got to assert our dominance over everybody else." That's what we do, talking about Team USA going into the WBC after seeing what the Olympic hockey team did. On to today, though. You see the score up there, 6-4. The final, the Bucks beating pretty well and decisively, I would say, their old manager, Derek Shelton. Bucks got off to a hot start. They had a 3-run first inning. Spencer Horwitz, I believe, Nick Gonzalez, Spencer Horwitz, Jake Mangum, O'Neal Cruz, they all had doubles that drove in 3 runs in the first inning. Horwitz finished the day with 2 hits and 2 RBIs. Gonzalez, 2 hits. I believe Cruz, 2 hits and a walk. The difference maker, though, game was tied up 4-4 late in the ball game. Sean Ross, catcher, minor league catcher for the Bucks, in the 8th inning, 2-run homer, put the Bucks on top 6-4. The final score right there. Down performance of the day, Jose Urquidy in competition for that 5th starting spot for the Buccos. He only went an inning and a third, ended up giving up 3 runs, all of them earned on 2 hits, 2 walks, and also had 2 strikeouts. At least Urquidy will get to stay with the Buccos and focus on competing for that starting role. He was supposed to go to Team Mexico for the World Baseball Classic, but he and a bunch of other pitchers and players, I think, due to visa or insurance issues, got sent back off the team, or got bounced off the team roster. So that's the final score today, 6-4. Also, sort of rolling football back into this. We'll get to football first thing in the extra Pittsburgh sports news here in a moment. Danny Smith, former special teams coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was in Bradenton today to watch the Buccos play. No confirmation or not of whether he was chewing on some bubble gum while watching the game, but good to see Danny Smith down there soaking up the Tampa sunlight. And again, no hard feelings whatsoever for Danny Smith. I hope he and his special teams unit, they do phenomenal down there for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Flacco country. All right, ladies and gentlemen, approaching quickly an hour into the live stream here tonight. Got through our first 3 main stories of the day. The Steelers and who they're looking at the NFL Combine as drills still ongoing right now. They began today. Sidney Crosby and his injury and how it affects the Pens and the Pittsburgh Pirates in the latest that they're doing down there in spring training. We are now heading on to the extra Pittsburgh sports news segment of the program. These are just loose end stories and news items that we aren't going to get too attached to, but they are very much well worth noting. Let's go back before we do that here to the comment section. Flacco Concepts, getting more comments in there. Glad to have you both here tonight. Concepts here, late, but I'll have to rewatch. David Bailey, very athletic. Can never have enough quality rushers. I definitely think within their first 3 picks of this draft, after seeing who the Steelers met with yesterday, within their first 3 picks, I think they got a first in 2 seconds or a first in 2/3, 3/3, something like that. I think you'll see the Steelers with one of those take a pass rusher of some sort, D lineman, edge rusher, defensive end, outside linebacker. You will see the Steelers continue to add to that department. I think you can honestly put a good bet on the Steelers drafting that position in the top half of the draft pretty much every year. But yeah, David Bailey, definitely a guy who is getting a lot of buzz for his athleticism. Believe Flacco here, this is not the first time you've mentioned this guy, Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker. Some of the prospect rankings that I've seen, Rodriguez, oddly low. He's like, in one that I saw, the 8th or 9th middle linebacker of the class, though the way that Texas Tech and their defense played, and you're believing the hype of him as well, Flacco, I'm going to have him higher than some others on my linebacker rankings. Concepts here. Excited to see Denzel Boston's 40 time his tape. Makes him look slower, but very smooth. Think he'll test faster than expected. Bigger build, but smooth runner. Definitely is a sizable target. He's 6'4", well over 200 pounds. Denzel Boston, if he can get into the, even if he can, hit 4.5 or something like that, not just be wretchedly slow. If he can get somewhere in the 4.5 range, maybe even kiss a 4.4 a tiny bit, that'll do wonders for his draft stock. And then all of a sudden, let's say Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon, those types of wide receivers, Casey Conception, Jordan Tyson, if all those wide receivers go off the board ahead of the Steelers pick and then they're left with Boston, it won't feel like, here's your consolation prize. You're getting the 5th out of the top 5 wide receivers. I wouldn't see Boston that way if he tests well. Flacco here, iffy on safety first round due to how many people are looking at the top 3. Don't want a consolation prize, though. If I said it at the beginning of the show, Steelers looked at Caleb Downs. They interviewed him. I think he also interviewed with like over a dozen teams. Downs said if he is going to be, buzzing around that, number 10 pick, I'd hop in front of a team like the Bengals or something where they pick up there and they need defensive help a bunch. I'd hop in front of them to get Caleb Downs if he's going to be as big of a difference maker as people are saying he is. Steelers could use a Derwin James, a Kyle Hamilton type player right now. And, it's not a really highly coveted spot like corner, but hey, can't get enough of good DBs. Concepts here. Mekhi Lemon's measurables. Might be another Luther Burden type, which isn't a bad thing. Honestly, Mekhi Lemon's probably my favorite wide receiver for the Steelers. I think we can agree Carnell Tate overall is the number 1 wide receiver, or at least, most people would agree with that. But Mekhi Lemon, if you can get a Luther Burden type guy to pair with DK Metcalf, assuming Metcalf is still here, we'll see. Having a guy like Lemon coupled with Metcalf, that would be a peanut butter and jelly likes guy right there. Small, shifty guy, works underneath, works the middle of the field, opens up thing for your big target, and vice versa. Would love that pairing for the Steelers. True on safety, tough sell, says Concepts. Safeties, Caleb Downs, Dylan Thieneman, McNeil Warren. Yeah, did McNeil Warren, he's Toledo or Tulsa? Forget what college he is. I'll get on that before the draft. Trust me, I will. After Downs, McNeil, Warren, Thieneman, those guys a little bit of a step down from Caleb Downs, and then I think the safety class might take a pretty big dip after that. So where's safety on the Steelers' priority list? We'll have to wait and see here. Brian Thomas Jr. and Lemon is all we need for wide receiver. We will get to that here in a few moments in the Steelers talk there. Extra Pittsburgh sports news. Brian Thomas Jr. apparently the Steelers sniffing around him. I'll believe it when I see it, but I'd swap out Thomas Jr. for DK immediately. If you can get both of them together, gravy. But if I had to choose between one or the other, Metcalf or Thomas Jr., I'm taking Thomas Jr. No offense to DK. How many globs of gum was under the bench? I think Danny Smith just sat in the dugout, honestly, with the Bucs today. They just said, here, Danny, Here's a full bucket of bubble gum on us. And then he was like, yeah, hell yeah. After I'm done coaching special teams, I could use a job where I'm just sitting all the time and I'll be a bench coach with Don Kelly. I could see Danny Smith in that type of role. Can fill in for Gene Lamont as the elder statesman on the coaching staff. That's pretty young for the Buccos. Third and a fourth rounder, cheap for Rodriguez. I'd scoop up Rodriguez, have him and Peyton Wilson, two of the best linebackers in their respective draft classes, competing. 2 dog, 1 bone type battle. I'd take that. Hopefully Colin listens to you. Wanted Brian Thomas Jr. We drafted Fa'atanu. Don't loved the Fa'atanu pick then and now, but also hoping for Brian Thomas Jr. I'm glad I saw the back end of that because, yes, could have had Thomas Jr., but also Fa'atanu, man. I mean, still people really harsh overly of that pick, and I like it too much. I think Fa'atanu is going to be a nice piece of that offensive line for a while to come. Flacco here. Think the Jets will take Caleb Downs. What a waste. Yeah. I mean, that's the one place that I kind of hope for his sake he doesn't go, because the Jets, just like the Cleveland Browns, they may even be overtaking the Cleveland Browns, the hellhole of the NFL. Going to be like a Jamal Adams and go and waste away his career there. I'm hoping that's not the case here. I think a trade up in the second round, very realistic, or package 2/3 or a third and a fourth for an extra second. That could happen. I mean, depends. There's going to be one guy, I think, that I'm going to really, really like that I would consider the Steelers to take in the first round. I have that feeling there's going to be one guy that I'm like, I'd be cool if the Steelers take him at 21. That's going to slide out the back end of the first round and be available there day 2. The Steelers can, hop up, slide in there, take that guy. Would absolutely love that for the Steelers. 7 of you in here right now on this Thursday evening. Let's officially continue on this Steelers talk here. Let's get into the extra Pittsburgh sports news of the day. Back to the Steelers. No idea how this happened. Really interested to see if there's any backlash or consequences, or what is it, the word I'm looking for, repercussions from this. The NFLPA team report cards, their grades are out, and it was just ruled in a court somewhere that posting the full results of the grades online for all the world to see, big no-no. NFL owners, they hate it, and whatever court ruled in their favor. Didn't stop the Steelers from getting their grades back, though, at least most of them. Per the NFLPA team report card grades, they have been leaked via this Kalen Collar, senior NFL writer for ESPN. The Steelers, and more specifically, Art Rooney II, still one of the worst owners in the league. Comes to no shock of anybody watching this live stream right now. The Steelers falling in the bottom 3, more specifically overall, dead last when it comes to their overall grades. Where they got hammered the most, the Steelers, their locker room, ownership, home field, strength and conditioning staff, and training staff all got roasted. Locker room, F grade per ESPN. Players reported, quote, it only has 5 bathroom stalls for the entire team. I know everybody's, most likely not going to need to go at once, but 5 stalls for 53 players, maybe even, somewhere around 60 to 70 when you add in practice squatters, plus coaching staff, which this McCarthy coaching staff, now bigger than Mike Tomlin's, you're looking at, somewhere between 25 to 30 guys right there. And pretty much anybody else who comes in and out of that room, reporters, trainers, any other visitors. 5 stalls. not good ratio to people at the facility to stalls there in the Steelers facility. That does not fly, and I absolutely agree with that F grade there. Ownership, dead last in willingness to invest in facilities. The Art Rooney II being cheap stigmas, those are not going to come to an end anytime soon. And honestly, looking at how the Bucks operated business this offseason a little bit, I think it is officially we're going from cheapest owner in the city of Pittsburgh, Bob Nutting, to cheapest owner in Pittsburgh, Art Rooney. I think we might be officially passing the torch in that department. Lowest rated home field in the league by a wide margin, the Pittsburgh Steelers, due to high school and college use leading to poor field conditions. Remember, that was a whole talking point at points last year. Chris Boswell ended up slipping on a field goal that he missed because of the field. I think even someone got injured. It's like running in painted dirt out there, people have said, so that is no surprise. Wish that the Steelers would just take control of their own stadium and Pitt, saddle up with the money to go get their own stadium. But quite frankly, kind of hate this because I love the location and just the city mystique of Acrisure Stadium. They're putting in new seats, but I wouldn't be surprised if you're looking in the next 5 to 10 years at potentially the Steelers looking to buy land somewhere a little outside the city and moving a stadium there, because just seems to be the way that sports teams are going nowadays. Strength coaches for the Steelers ranked last in the NFL. Hopefully that changes, because that absolutely brutal strength staff that the Steelers had for the past 2 seasons with Mike Tomlin, hated them from day one. Pretty much, first year of the new strength and conditioning staff, they have Russell Wilson pushing a blocking sled and he pulls his calf. Not overly smart or effective that strength and conditioning staff was, because you got your quarterback starter that year hurt. Also, never stopped from day one till the final day when everybody left and the house got cleaned. Soft tissue, hamstring, groin injuries, those never went away. Don't know how frequent they are around the entirety of the NFL, but definitely felt higher than usual for the Steelers. So all those grades, just phenomenal for the Steelers. Art Rooney II, if you needed to wonder here, Rooney got a D- in the ownership grades as a whole. His saving grace from being dead last, one guy, whoever the Cardinals owner is, don't have his name on the top of my head right now, but Art Rooney II, nearly dead last in the NFL for overall ownership. Coaches, by the way, no shock, Mike Tomlin got an A. Wonder where Mike McCarthy is going to slide in here come this time next year. But, yep, things still going swimmingly with the Steelers, and how Art Rooney II treats the players. Doesn't treat them. They could have a caviar budget if they wanted to, but instead settle for, food from Sheets down the street night in, night out here. No knock at Sheets here, just comparing the two here. Don't mean to offend Sheets here. Love Sheets. Wawa, we'll change it to Wawa. Other side of the state, they suck. Back into some other Steelers stuff right here. Adam Schefter, not sure how much credibility you're going to take with what he's saying right here, because isn't he the guy that Aaron Rodgers told in the past, hey, lose my number? He said he expects Rodgers to sign or make a decision sooner than later last year. That goes with the thoughts of Omar Khan. He said it could be around mid-March. That is the first time we've gotten a ballpark area here. Earlier could be tomorrow. Earlier could be, 3 months into the off season. At least mid-March, we got a vague-ish area of where Rodgers could make the decision. So mid-March, a few weeks from now, I'd be cool with that. Getting an answer from Rodgers by then. Then you can attack free agency for the most part how you want, attack the draft how you want as well. Definitely would love for that to be true. If it's not, or if Rodgers takes his time to make his decision and then ultimately retires, according to some reports, mostly from The Athletic, could be an analyst in his future. A report from The Athletic talked about players who could become analysts for NBC, replacing Tony Dungy, and both Aaron Rodgers and Cam Hayward came up in the article. The article starts with Pittsburgh Steelers coach Mike Tomlin might be reluctant to enter TV, and then it goes on here. A wild card is quarterback Aaron Rodgers, who also might play another year for the Steelers. And then it went on later to mention Cam Hayward, mentioned Hayward's podcast. Hayward appeared on NBC's Super Bowl pregame coverage, but he might not be done playing as well. He and Rodgers might be in closer relation to the situation they're in than what we may expect here. If Rodgers doesn't come back, anybody want any interest in Anthony Richardson? Pretty much for another off season here until the Steelers finally find a franchise guy. Anything related to quarterbacks will mention here in some way, shape, or form. The Colts today and Anthony Richardson mutually agreeing to seek a trade. Could Mike McCarthy have an interest in a freak athlete like Richardson, even though, unfortunately, he sucks? It's like that Moneyball scene. This guy here does everything right. Fields well, hits the cover off the ball every time he makes contact. What's the problem? He can't hit. Right here, Anthony Richardson, tall as hell, built like a brick you-know-what house, has a cannon for an arm, can run like the wind too. What's the problem? He just sucks at football. Could McCarthy, work his magic, help out Anthony Richardson? We'll see if the Steelers have any interest in that. Steelers shouldn't have any interest. Just wanted to mention this as well. In tight end Isaiah Likely, apparently word is at the combine he is getting tons of looks from several teams and is very sought after once the free agency period begins. So Likely out of Baltimore. I think we can bid bye-bye to him. And then the last thing here, Flacco, you were the first to bring it up. I will address it now. According to some sources out there, I don't have any definitive, people who are saying this, but rumor on the street, Brian Thomas Jr., Jaguars might be dangling him out there a little bit. Steelers could be in on Brian Thomas Jr., and really they should be. Any chance a wide receiver is made available, Steelers should at bare minimum do their due diligence, see if they like the player and his production, ask for what the price is, and then, at least go that far. Thomas, phenomenal first year with the Jaguars. Second year had a little bit of a slowdown, but still not anything that I'm overly concerned about. Would take him in a heartbeat. I mean, not too rare that career arc he just went on through his first two seasons. Phenomenal rookie season, has a bit of a sophomore slump. Now junior year, can he figure out the league a little bit? I take at the right price a flyer on him if I were the Steelers. Now it also, comes in, how do you divvy up your draft picks to acquire him? Do you give up a player as well? We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But Brian Thomas Jr., we've talked, I think, a lot about guys like A.J. Brown and Tyreek Hill on here. Let's not rule out going a bit younger than those guys with a Brian Thomas Jr. here. Would love to do that. Back into hockey here in the extra Pittsburgh sports news segment. Not too much hockey news surrounding the Pens. There is at least one last bit of Team USA Olympic hockey talk. We covered them all the way through their run to the gold medal. They were at the State of the Union Tuesday night. They ended up being introduced to a nice round of applause in the room by mostly everybody. Connor Hellebuck, goaltender for Team USA, and the Winnipeg Jets presented the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I believe only like a dozen athletes or something have gotten that medal, and Hellebuck, he ends up getting it. Deserves it for that performance. My goodness. That gold medal game also for Team USA and Canada, 18.6 million average viewers and the viewership peaked in overtime at 26 million. The most watched sporting event with a pre-9 a.m. start time in United States history. Insane. Also one of the most watched hockey games of all time. I believe the 1980 Miracle team game against the Soviet Union, that I think got more viewership than this game, but also that game started, I think, like 3 o'clock, so right in the middle of the day. And meanwhile, this here, first thing in the morning, people waking up, going to bars, having a drink, sitting around in their living room, nervous as all hell watching a game, and 18.6 to 26 million people watched it all at once. Yeah, I think that'll do for how important that game was. One guy, part of that team, apparently having a rough time back to NHL hockey. Jake Gensel did not go to the State of the Union, but might be still shaking off some of a hangover. Hit the post of a wide open net last night against the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Leafs ended up going the other way and scoring. Not a good look for Gensel. Also, speaking of not good looks, Tristan Jarry. Any Edmonton fans out there? You still want to say that you won the trade with us? Because, yikes. Jarry, when he went and that trade first happened and it was said he was going to go to Edmonton from the area, played his junior hockey there, back in your hometown, pressure cooker of a market, and Jarry, he is frying right now, alive. 5 goals on 24 shots last night against the Anaheim Ducks. Gets yanked in a tied hockey game late in the third period. Edmonton ends up losing, and now Jarry, in 12 games with the Edmonton Oilers, missed a few due to injuries, an .863 save percentage. Yikes. Letting in nearly every 5th shot he faces. And guess what, Edmonton? You got, I think, 2 to 3 more years of that, looking at Jarry's contract. Thanks for Stuart Skinner and Brett Kulak in the second-round pick. And now Kulak has turned into another defenseman and another second-round pick. So, good stuff, Edmonton. Pleased to do business with you anytime you feel like it. Wrapping up here in baseball, ladies and gentlemen, the only other news stories going on with the Pirates today besides their games over the past 24 hours. Apparently, according to Noah Hiles of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Connor Griffin and the Pirates are both open to getting an extension done on his contract. I would love for that. Honestly, be a no-brainer. People would jump up for joy. Get Griffin on a 8-year, set him a rookie. You know, I think it was Roman Anthony for the Red Sox last year signed an 8-year, $130 million deal to wipe out his arbitrary years. I go up to 150, maybe even a little bit beyond for how Griffin is projected to be. Also, be a no-brainer for the Bucks. But thing is, do I believe they're that smart? No. They've had a good offseason, but don't think they're going to go down that road, unfortunately, and they're going to go through the arbitration years from Griffin, and it'll be like pulling teeth and be so much harder to get him on a long-term deal. But, you know, hey, here's to hoping that Griffin ends up signing a contract with the Buccos. I think it would be easy to do so. Also, the Buccos, they announced their coaching staffs for all 4 of their minor league affiliates this year. The Indianapolis Indians, Altoona Curve, Bradenton Marauders, and Greensboro Grasshoppers. The managers of those 4 clubs, AAA manager will be Eric Patterson, took over, I believe, in 2025 when Chris Truby got called up to the big leagues to be a part of Donnie Kelly's staff. Andy Fox will have his second year in AA Altoona. Greensboro, their new manager will be Jose Mosqueda, a Colombian he's also the World Baseball Classic manager for Colombia. And then the Bradenton Marauders, low A baseball, they will get Jera Alvarez, who I believe was the manager back in 2017 and 2018 at Bradenton as well. So good luck to all the minor league affiliates. Last 2 things here on the Bucks. They they hired former Mets beat writer and Adam Rubin as their director of communications for the Pirates. Wonder if there's any sort of PR aspect to that. Might be a good idea for the Pirates to go to external resources for help with public relations after they batted 1,000 in that department last year. And last thing on the Bucks, we got the word on who's going to be starting the next handful of days for the Bucks. Tomorrow, that being Friday, Mitch Keller will pitch against the Baltimore Orioles. I believe it will be Keller's second start of spring training. Same thing for Braxton Ashcraft on Sunday against Houston. Hunter Barca will pitch against the St. Louis Cardinals Sunday, and then Mike Clevenger will pitch against the Tampa Bay Rays on Monday. So that's the latest look ahead for the battling Buccos as they continue to roll through spring training and hopefully be on the road to a winning season back up north. All right, ladies and gentlemen, 11 of you in here right now. My apologies. Gonna begin wrapping up the show here in a moment. Let's take one last stroll here through Twitter, see if there's any new news since we have gone live. It is official, the lineup tonight for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They moved the second line up to the top line. So Chinakhov, Novak, Malkin will be line one. Ricard Raquel, indeed, will be a center tonight in the middle of Brian Rust and Avery Hayes. Sam Girard will make his Penguins debut on the other side of Chris Letang. This right here from Frank Saravalli, NHL Insider, says Stuart Skinner's name has popped up in trade talks, I'd say, over the last couple of weeks. Would not be surprised at that. Honestly, Skinner, since he's come to Pittsburgh, has he been light years better than what he was with the Edmonton Oilers? Yes. Also, the way that the Penguins, more specifically Kyle Dubas, are picking up second-round picks like pieces of candy right now. If Skinner can fetch you a second-round pick, if a team is truly desperate for him, and you know, as the Penguins, looking at your young goaltenders in Wilkes-Barre, you're not going to re-sign him, I'd pull the trigger on a deal. Win-win. Ship off Stu Skinner. Thank you for the few months you were here in Pittsburgh. Glad to help you revive your career a little bit. You're not going to be back here next year. Might as well get something for you. And hey, Sergei Miroshov, his time is up. Skinner and Jari, your time is now in the NHL, kid. Let's see if you can, if you got the goods like what we think. Jason Mackey here, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette writer. Back to the Connor Griffin extension talks we just mentioned a moment ago. Mackey projecting Connor Griffin's contract to be north of $100 million. No crap there. Says the Pirates have a 60% chance of signing Griffin to an extension before opening day. That's a little better than half, and honestly, it is way better odds than what I would have given the Bucks. So 60%, Griffin signs a extension before opening day. Then all of a sudden, the whole you gotta keep him in the minors for a set amount of time before you waste a year off of his team control. All of that goes out the window with an extension, and Griffin can come up here day one and then move up and down the farm system without any repercussions, however he would like. See, is there anything else here? Seeing more pictures of Sidney Crosby, by the way. The Penguins, yesterday, I believe, they held their Little Penguins Learn to Play Hockey program at their practice facility in Cranberry. My sister was a part of that one time long ago. Actually skated circles around Sidney Crosby in a video. That's hilarious. Penguins players out there helping out with the kids. Crosby taping up the stick of a young player. That was pretty cool. Also tying skates for little kids as well. Won't find a better person than Sidney Crosby on the ice, off the ice, in public. Sid is the man. Let's see here. Any other things here we are missing before we log off? Seeing a video here. Aaron Glenn, New York Jets head coach, maybe caught sleeping at the combine. Yeah, right there. Like this, eyes closed. And then someone like says his name or something. He like pops awake like this and then goes like, yeah, I'm locked in. Holy hell. Jets fans, they just keep taking it. Kicks to the groin. Time after time after time. Do we necessarily feel bad for them? No, but is it getting to a crazy point where they where it's hard for them as fans? Think yeah. Yeah, we're getting there. All right. Do not think I am seeing anything else here, ladies and gentlemen. So I think we're going to wrap up the show right there. Back to your comments sections. Going to nitpick a few comments here before we log off for the evening. Fautanu, a great pick. Definitely a steal at 20 still. Cornerstone tackle for a decade. Brian Thomas Jr. was also a great pick. Both can be true concepts. Not saying the Steelers would have been wrong with either choice, but just glad they made one of them, thankfully. I think Omar Cooper Jr. and Fields would be okay, too, for wide receiver. Oh, my goodness. You just brought up probably my favorite wide receiver that I would love to get in the second round if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. Malachi Fields, Notre Dame wide receiver. Dude is a freak. Big body. Plays like like any other wide receiver type out there, can do everything on the field. Malachi Fields, he's my guy that I really want bad here for the Steelers. And I'm not just saying that because he absolutely diced up my Pitt Panthers back when Notre Dame visited at the back end of the college football season here. But yeah, Malachi Fields, definitely a guy I will have maybe higher than everyone on my draft board here. Not going to put him, up in the Carnell Tate, Makai Lemon territory, but could he be up there right behind like a Denzel Boston, something like that? Not going to rule that out. Not going to roll that out. It's like we got concepts here with an announcement. Pittsburgh Steelers with the 84th overall pick. They draft Roman Dustain. Roman Wilson. That was certainly a pick, and crazy now that he probably won't even be on the team. We'll see if Mike McCarthy and this new coaching staff tries to fix up that broken machine here at all. Looking here, concepts. Richardson's decision making is awful. Play sums it up so well. Or him just ignoring the pass rush and getting clobbered every play. Zero awareness and self-preservation. Oh no, he does have self-preservation. Remember when he tapped out, midway in the game, and then who was it? Joe Flacco went in. He does preserve himself. He taps out of the game, even though he's the quarterback. Definitely a big no-no there. Like I said, on paper, looking at Anthony Richardson, going back to when he was coming out of the combine and all that, everything should scream, you should want that guy as your quarterback. And then everything from the eyes to between the ears to the decision making, it all went downhill from there. Downhill. You guys still talking about Richardson here, way too sloppy. Right here. I have yet to watch any Tyler Bagent film. Have to before free agency. For the hell of it. I wouldn't mind Tyson Bagent or Tyler Bagent. Tyson Bagent or Tyler Bagent? Seems like a dude. Is he going to be a franchise guy? No. Could he be a backup? Yes. Does he have moxie? Also, yes. Be like a younger Mason Rudolph, maybe. A dude who just oozes moxie and aura, even though doesn't have necessarily the talent to back it up. Aaron Glenn praying for a miracle. I don't think he was praying there. I think he might have been counting sheep. Drew Aller in the 4th as a dart throw. Just a random thought. Have zero clue about Aller, to be honest. Aller, honestly, now that I think about it, similar to Anthony Richardson. Dude's got all the talent and eligibles in the world. Size is nice. Arm is decent. Running quarterback, very mobile for his size, but decision making and reading the defense, that's where he kind of hits a wall there. So definitely wouldn't mind drafting on just upside and ceiling alone for Aller in the 4th round, but unlike the Colts, not going to take him anywhere near the 1st or 2nd round. right here. LMAO, elite self-preservation. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He tapped out of the game. At least he's not, Kyler Murray, where he plays the video games, is addicted to that, and then doesn't at all, study film. I would like to think Richardson at least does that a little bit. I'll take Justin Fields back before Richardson. Honestly, I'd probably be in the same boat there. At least Fields, you've seen him have spurts of success way more in the NFL than Richardson ever had. So that's not a bad pull there, not a bad call there at all, Flacco. Not going to happen, but last two quarterbacks on earth, Steelers need to have one of them. Probably be taking Fields, because maybe McCarthy could get Fields to round his game all the way around, more so than Tomlin or Matt Nagy or Aaron Glenn could have. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's just about going to wrap it up here for tonight. Let me do a quick changing of the TV channel over here. The NFL Scouting Combine, like to think they're wrapping up defensive lineman and linebacker drills for the day. So now we are on to the Pittsburgh Penguins game. Puck drop coming up here just moments away. Going to tune into that now. Want to thank you all for coming back here on this Thursday evening. We'll probably be back here tomorrow night to wrap up the week before we head into the weekend and the rest of the NFL Combine. And quite honestly, I'm expecting with the rest of the Combine, 2 Penguins games, and even more spring training games for the Bucks. I'm expecting a jam-packed Monday next week here for the channel, but we'll be back here tomorrow, most likely to wrap up the week, talk about anything new that comes across our attention here, including this hockey game. So that's going to do it here tonight. Want to thank you all for tuning in, subscribing to the channel. As always, believe we were at 759 subscribers. Yeah, we're still at that mark right there. Gain a new subscriber over the last 24 hours. So want to thank that person. Also, on the way out, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, turn on notifications so that you never miss a thing here on the channel again. Like this live stream, share this live stream in the comment section after the fact. Any thoughts, questions, or opinions that you may have, leave those in the comment section. I can get back to you there. I just said like, share, leave a comment. Go give the channel a follow at Steel City SR on Facebook, Instagram, and X. And tune back in a little bit later on tonight for a new edition of SCSR 60. Thank you all for watching. Have a good rest of your Thursday night. Please pray for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Let's go, Pens. Stay hot after the Olympic break. We'll meet back here tomorrow night talking about everything Pittsburgh sports. Have a good one. Peace.